Hello and welcome to my studio journal. Now back in 2022, I started to redesign my home studio, shifting from software to hardware for the first time. What began as a few videos for some curious students soon became an ongoing unfiltered record.
I'm off to get a shelf that we gave to my parents a while back, and the thing is, my mom no longer needs it. In fact, never opened it, so wanted to know whether we could use it. And well, we can't use it anywhere in the house, but I thought maybe I can use it in the studio. I'm still having issues with where I'm going to put that rack system, as well as, the mixer. Where am I going to put the mixer? So, I'm still dealing with some of these issues. Actually, I'm dealing with a lot of these issues, trying to get some of this stuff put together.
Once again, day 19, and it's going fairly well, but there's a few issues. I have the Akai Force hooked up through Ethernet into the computer, which is fine. That seems to make it go a lot faster than with using my Wi-Fi for whatever reason. The next thing I have to do is actually connect the Machine Plus to that computer as well using an Ethernet cable. So that's one of the things that I have to do there. And once again, this desk is pretty much solid, except for then it's just a matter of deciding whether I'm going to put the mixer here or not, and whether I'm going to swing this little stand around. The problem with this desk is, when I got this USB hub right here, this little guy, if I hook the audio interface up using that little hub, the mouse, when it's connected to the same USB hub, gives this horrible buzz. So then that has to be looked at. Plus, the MODX can't be hooked up to the USB hub without creating a lot of internal noise for some reason while it's hooked up to the Akai Force and the mixer and all that sort of stuff. So that's something that has to be kind of dealt with. Other than that, the desk is where I want it to be. The other problem I'm having is over here. That's the synth wall that I keep on talking about. The one that's the closest in the shot there. The big issue with it is that, well, it's just all wrong. I kind of want to put it back to the way it was to begin with, but I'll get back into that a little bit later. It's too hard to move over, but there is that rack unit that I created, and I had that over against the synth wall. I don't like it there. And then I thought, well, I'll have it under the side of the desk. Well, I don't really like it there either. I might actually put the whole rack and everything right under the desk. It won't be sitting too far back. I'll just need to roll out a little bit and do some adjustment, but then everything is right there. And I might be able to put the mixer there too. I'm not sure. So, for instance, the reason why I chose to put the rack unit and the patch bay and everything under here is because when I did those cables at the very beginning with, I had cables I hooked together, right? 2 XLR cables that went to 2 TRS cables on the end, because I couldn't find long enough TRS cables. So all the joints are right here. That means I just need to buy a couple ends, and all of a sudden I can make 2 cables again out of 1, because I'm not running them all around. I'm only running them halfway. If I make this the halfway point, everything gets to go halfway this way, halfway that way around the room. Nothing is doing an entire circle around the entire room to try and get to where it has to be. So I think the first thing, before I start building a shelf or anything underneath here, I'm going to take apart this entire back wall. And that's a big job. That means I have to undo all the clips, I have to move all the lighting around, and that's going to be a big pain. But I think that's the next thing I have to do. I just simply want to lighten up the top part of the shelves a little bit so it just doesn't look so dark in here with all this equipment. When we talk about making things look lighter, so for instance, this is the way it is right now with everything densely populated at the top of the racks and top of those shelves and everything like this. And this is what it was before, which I would like to kind of go back to a little bit more of that thing where there's a little bit more space at the top and maybe more shelves towards the bottom. Anyhow, that's what I'm going to try to get for it instead of this, which isn't bad. And I might only have to move a few shelves. So this works out pretty well, but I still would like to try and maybe get more of that sort of feel. So this is as far back as I can get in here, but this is kind of what that wall looks like right now. It's not going to look too much different. I'm just going to try and change around a few shelves in there. The floor beside me is a little bit messy, but anyhow, this is with the new shelving position, which I think I like a little bit better. Who knows? I'll probably end up rearranging them again, as I've rearranged them 16 times already. Over in this corner, though, I have a spot for a Eurorack Go case there and a Eurorack Go case there, which means that I then can have like a spot like that and a spot up there or down in here for a couple other synths and stuff like this. Plus, I have all these spaces down here for kind of things like maybe innovation base station and things like this. Now I'm just going to put everything back, not wired in, but just to take a look at it before I take everything apart again. I also rewired everything, so the wires should look a lot nicer, so there should be a lot less hanging around. If you'd like to follow the full journey, check out my online studio journal linked in the description. Until next time, I'm just a music teacher having fun. Catch you on the next one.